Welcome to my garden. This is tomatoes and peonies, and here's an update after I left the garden for 2 weeks. We went on vacation and I came and I almost didn't recognize some of the beds, so I wanted to share a tour here before I start tending and doing all the maintenance I need to do. I'm in zone 5A or B in the Midwest. And it hasn't rained much while I was gone, but I have installed a drip irrigation system, so everything would take care of itself during the time that we were gone. So let's take a look at what had happened. This is a new bed that has the mulberry tree, and the mulberry produced a few fruit that I tasted probably too, and see how they look like. They're really tiny. This is a white lavender tree, so they were very sweet. Tiny. I hope that they get bigger, but they're extremely sweet, like candy. Here on the ground I have a few new herbs that I'm trying. This is horehound for medicinal uses, and it's doing great, although it doesn't get a lot of water. And this one here is anise hyssop, also a new one for me. This here is lovage. I tasted it, I haven't used it, but it tastes really good. Kind of hints of celery but stronger flavor, so that's what I'm hoping to use it for, like salads and dishes. And this is mullein, and it's supposed to grow like big leaves and then send a spike up with flowers the second year, and also used for medicinal purposes. So everything here is doing great, and it gets a lot of sun. This corner here, the oregano, I trimmed it really severely before we left, but now look at that, it has grown. It's about 2 feet tall and it's flowering, so I really need to go down and trim it more. This video is helpful because I will say whatever I need to do, all my chores, which includes a lot of pruning, especially for the herbs. The peonies are done flowering, so I need to go and get rid of some of the leaves so that they don't cover whatever is around them, especially just because I don't have a lot of space. Strawberries are done their first fruiting period, and we missed most of it, and the birds got to most of them. I put the strawberries on the edges of the bed here because they're just short and they won't overshadow whatever is behind them. I planted a lot of perennial flowers here for pollinators. They're not doing great. I have foxglove here away from the neighbor's dog because it's poisonous. It's kind of yellow now. Lupin here, it hasn't grown, but I expect them to stay like that for the first year, not a lot of growth. And the clematis is continuing to put a show here, really pretty. Marigolds are here, they're fine, and they're probably gonna flower soon. All these annuals are good. The trees, the fruit trees, have produced a few new leaves, so that's good for a first year. The cherry, this one, not sure what's happening with the leaves of this plum, but I hope it's not a disease. Here I have a couple of peppers, and they've already produced one pepper. That's nice. These are lunchbox. That's the apple here, the first apple, and this is the parsley tree. It's almost 4 feet high, no more. It's flowering, and I just leave it here for the pollinators, and of course to get some seeds. This is a great variety. This is Italian heirloom variety, very flavorful. This is the second fruit tree, it's doing better, but it started with better roots and a stem here. Then I just have like different flowers and a repetition of the flowers. Here they're the more pepper, like the leftover pepper, and two eggplants. And the daisy have put that beautiful flower, awful smell, but beautiful flowers, and more marigolds over there. And for the first time, I have the cornflower here, and it finally flowered. I planted it last year, and look at that. This is called green twister. So it has green edges and pink. They're pink from the inside. It's gonna be pretty. A different type from the usual purple cornflower. The yarrow also flowered. This is double pearl, I think. Double pearl yarrow. So not your typical yarrow. Very pretty, but same medicinal uses. I have bee balm here. This is also not the usual one. This is called spotted, and the flowers are kind of like this. They grow a little bit bigger, but they stay like this. So really pretty. The tick seed that I planted last year, they're double the length, and they're putting up a really nice show. Everything here is for the pollinators. This is Agastaki. Love it for the teas, especially in winter, in the cold. So this was supposed to be my pollinator bed, and it's doing its purpose. It's filling up really nicely this year with a lot of the herbs that I planted. And this is the hibiscus, the rose mallow. It loves wet soil, and it's definitely loving it. I think it quadrupled in size within 2 weeks. So now it's 4 feet high. These are red in color, and I have a small one. It's not growing as fast. I planted it last year or the year before. This one, it's supposed to be, it's white and pink, but also very pretty. I used to be able to go from here to the new beds, but now it's tricky when everything's grown, and when those flowers also grow. Like I have milkweed here. When it's gonna grow, this pathway is gonna close completely, but that's fine. I have another one here on the new beds. I have planted beans here that I need to thin, but I overplant them because I have roly-polies and they eat. Like, look at this stem. This was supposed to be a bean, and they eat all of them. This is also was one. So they would eat, if they eat half of them, I still have the other half, and then I'm hoping that they climb the trellis here. They're not getting a lot of sun, but eventually when they grow they will. So I need to fertilize everything. I fertilized 3 weeks ago, so I need to do that. Here, those this is the new tomato bed. I was supposed to install a big trellis system, but we didn't have time. So that is what we need to do soon. So what I just did here, I did a Florida weave system. So I just installed these posts, and then I weave the just like strings in between them. So they hold together, but now they're as high as those posts. They tripled in size within these 3 weeks. But they are doing good, I think, because, relatively speaking, because they were hit with another herbicide drift while I was gone, especially the ones on that corner. But one of my neighbors has sprayed again their weeds, so see what happens. Look at this one, for example. This is new growth, and these are the leaves here. They're crinkly, and then they don't produce, which is really sad. So, but otherwise if they hadn't sprayed, then they would be good. The herbs are okay. The parsley, the basil is loving this place. I have a lot of volunteer weird things. So like these look like pineapple ground cherries. I have not planted any of that. Look at all these. I don't know. I thought I used just very well cooked compost. I don't know where all these came from. I even have a porcelain plant here, but so many. I even have melons growing here. Where did that come from? Again, all of these are volunteer, and this is volunteer melon, I think, or wild melon. I've used my compost, but it was really below everything else. I don't know where they're coming from. This is the variegated lemon thyme that I got. I just love it. And it smells like very good. Lemony, and it's really good on teas. And I have planted just random herbs everywhere. This is Thai basil here and chamomile. So wherever there is a space, I just plant on the edges different herbs. Again, chamomile here. This is the new bed, the raspberry, Joanne J raspberry. They are the same size. I don't expect them to grow much. This one is struggling a little bit, but I have a backup one if it doesn't survive. And here is the grape, Somerset grape. It has taken over. It is huge, and it's bearing a lot this year. I think I need to go and thin some of them. Definitely need to fertilize, but I think I need to thin some of the fruit so it doesn't suffer a lot. So that's on my to-do list again. The mint this year, this is the best year for mint. I cut it really short before I left, and now it's back to where it was, and it took over this bed. This is a separate bed. It's separated from the other beds, so the mint doesn't move to the other beds. And I also, like, I made sure to add more bricks here so it doesn't jump the line and go to the other, and so it doesn't go to the other beds. And this bed, remember when I left, everything was very short, and everything at least doubled, if not tripled in size. Oh, I think these have some sunburn on them. These are the pineapple ground cherries. I already have some. You wait for them until they fall. They are a type of tomatillo, but they produce things like that in husks, and then you remove the husk, and then you get something like that. Looks like a small tomato, cherry tomato, and it tastes same texture, but it tastes more pineapple-y and sweet. So really, really good. Gone. But yeah, it's still a bit sour at them. Probably need to wait a little bit more for them. But yeah, you just have to wait for them until they dry up and wait and fall by themselves. So I have some here, some there. There's a lot of damage from flea beetles, but they are tolerating that. And I also have this weird little bug this year. Where is it? It's right. Where's my finger? Oh, here. My finger. Here. It's like triangle in shape. Bigger than a flea beetle. I don't know. And it flies like a fly. What is this? I think it's making some damage. Here. We'll get rid of it. Gone. Yeah, so there's so many. The peppers are also doing great. I'm glad I staked this one. They're also getting some damage by the herbicide drift. Look at all these deformed leaves. Some species more than the others. And here are finally, this is what I'm so excited about, the eggplants. The eggplants, some deformation, a lot of damage from the flea beetles, but they did not die. And I'm just hoping that they produce this year. Previous years, they either died from the flea beetle or their flowers would just fall without producing for some reason. I don't have anything yet, but I'm hoping I get some eggplants, because if they continue to grow this well, I might get some for the first time in 6 years. The zucchini is doing great. Also, again, this is my first year planting zucchini in beds. It's doing awesome. The only bad thing is it's gonna die maybe in 3 weeks. Everything's gonna die. Why? Because I have vine borers, and then they go and lay eggs, and the eggs turn into they bore in the stems and kill the tree from the stems, so the whole tree will not the tree, the whole plant is gonna die. And I just saw one that was actively laying eggs in front of me. Look at that. Let me see. This is a vine borer egg. It looks brown, and they lay one egg on every spot they choose. Usually they're on the stems, but this is a stupid one, I guess. So the stem here should be full, like different stems of eggs. Usually I go and pick them up. I will try, but this bush is really big. I think I will miss some eventually. Sometimes when they bore, I go and get into the stem with a knife and get that bug, the caterpillar, from inside, and sometimes I'm able to save it. I don't know if I can go inside the bed here and do that. So I will just plant other plants today, just in case when they die, I will have extra. And that's why I planted them really close, so when one of them dies, I will have other survivors. But I'm so excited about my first zucchini here. Yes. The okras are not doing great. That's, I think, the only thing that is not doing great. They're so slow. They only added a couple leaves. Something's eating them. They have okras that I need to harvest as well, but they're not doing as great as others. Here are more ground cherries. This is basil. I need to harvest basil again. I think this is a pollinated eggplant flower. I'm hoping so. I have good amount of bees, so that's not an issue. Here, this is the peppers, and I think I have peppers here. This is a variegated pepper. Just gonna wait a few days before I harvest it. And here I planted some cucumbers from before I left, a couple of seeds, and they are growing well. So hoping I'm doing them staggered, so I always have new plants. So this is really good. Oh, the grapes also are very sensitive to herbicidal drift, so those leaves are not gonna grow bigger. All the new leaves. Okay, let's go to the other side. Here are just random leftovers of things in this bed. It doesn't get a lot of sun, but I have like arugula. Of course, everything has bolted, but it's still edible. Arugula is not too bad, not just like lettuce. Lettuce gets bad. I have, this is a new plant. It's a Japanese green. I think it's called Kamotsuna, something like that, but it bolts very, very quickly. I don't think I'm gonna plant it again, and it gets huge. There are chards here. Chard is good, and I planted a lot of cilantro here from seed. I'm hoping they don't bolt. as bad. And then I also planted a lot of cucumber. Only one of them, oh, two of them came. So I need to plant more here for the third staggered seedling. Okay, and these beds are overgrown. I have a lot of work to do here. A lot of the stuff has, again, bolted, like the arugula here. All this lettuce needs to go. When it bolts, it produces this white substance or liquid like this. It's so bitter and it's not edible. I can't even feed it to my tortoise. So it all needs to go. I might just leave one for the seeds. This variety though, the red one, doesn't produce as much. Well, it has some white stuff, but not as much as this giant one. Here are a lot of bolting greens as well. All of that needs to go. I'll just collect some of the seeds here. This is pak choi. I didn't get to eat it this year because we left for those 2 weeks. Same here, they're covering the celery, so they need to go. This is the perpetual spinach, and it's doing really good once I remove all this regular spinach that is bolting, and I'll just leave one of them. Here, this is Diva cucumber, and it's doing great. I just need to move it around, just make sure that these 3 plants have enough space to grow. And I usually let them climb up the maple tree, so that's a good space for them. This direction is west, so they get west sun here, and it's good. The mint, again, they have overgrown here, so I need to trim them down, especially that I planted new herbs here. This is the za'atar oregano that I was excited about, but now it's covered by this aggressive mint. This bed here, I don't know where to start. Finally, I have beets that are growing so well, and I have baby beets. Yeah, I need to send these. I in the past I didn't have enough space for beets, so they won't grow as much. And also I think I planted them too closely to the carrots, so I need to like maybe when the beets are done, the carrots will have more space. All right. Oh wait, what is this? This is a cucumber. Did I plant this cucumber here? Oh, maybe. Yeah. I think I planted one cucumber here. All right. So this needs to be trellised. Okay, good. Yeah, because this is the snow peas, and I was planning to get rid of them. Now that it's getting so hot, we're getting 90s weather, so they need to go. This is cilantro. It's doing well, being covered with the other plants. It's a jungle here, really. Just overwhelming. All of the spinach needs to go. I need to collect it, probably freeze it. I have parsley there. I have parsley here and there. It's not getting a lot of sun, so it's not growing as much. I have a cucumber here that is struggling to get some sun, but it will grow on this small trellis here. So all this green needs to go. Oh gosh, I had leeks doing so well somewhere here. I don't know where they are. I need to remove everything and expose the leeks. Perpetual spinach doing really good. This was watered every other day while I was gone, and we had weathers in the 80s. I think I was overwatering, but they loved it. But I just like for reassurance. I didn't want to risk it. All this has to go. That's the Japanese green. And I need to plant something here. The problem is this is almost completely shady spot. And still they bolted. So I'll see. Yeah. Now here, I didn't know what to do in this bed, so I just planted that new orange mint, and I love that. And then I just planted calendula here. I used to plant it around the garden, but then I always get a moth that would just eat it up, like several caterpillars in every flower. So I planted them here and I plan to cover them. I need to do that very soon because they're starting to flower, and I use them for the teas. Like I need a lot for the teas, for making lotions. So I will take care of it. Here, this is the tomato bed, the old one. See, it's getting shaded by the tree. So now once the sun moves more southwest, it will get more sun. But it's doing terrible with the herbicidal drift. Everything here is really, really burned. Look at those new trees, new leaves. I think that neighbor here on the corner, they have nice lawn and they just spray it religiously. Really, everything is burned. So I'm not getting a lot of fruit. I won't get a lot of fruit from this bed, which is really sad. Yeah. Oh, yes. No, this is gone also. So, right here I have some herbs. This is the lemon balm, doing great. Yeah, I don't want to talk a lot about this bed. It's heartbreaking to see all that damage. And then what do I have here? I left some radishes here. I'm planning to eat the pods this year. They were really good, so I left them there. And here we have a strawberry that have been picked clean by the birds, but then I planted cucumbers on this new trellis, and I already have one, so I'm excited about. I need to water them better. I'm not getting enough water. This looks empty here because these are all perennials that I planted them this year, and they're gonna stay like that, not a lot of growth. But next year they will be as pretty as this one that I planted last year. The okras here, the leftover ones, are also not doing great, and I have a lot of beans here that I planted them just before I left. Again, half of them are eaten by the roly-polies, but the other half are still growing, so that is great. And this plum here is also doing great. It's getting a lot of sun, much more than the other side. Strawberries here on the side, I need to plant more once they produce those runners, and they just started. The fig tree is doing great. And I have zinnias here. They're not doing as great as I want them, like these ones, and I planted them from seedlings, so maybe they're not getting a lot of water. The clematis is nice here on the side. I'm keeping it. It's behaving. And then here, this peony needs to be trimmed, and the roses also dead-headed. Ooh, before I go to the front, I will show this, what happens here on the stairs, because all the flowers are just beautiful. I was afraid before I left that they're not getting good nutrients from the soil, but they made it, and I'm waiting for all the snapdragons to open. They're my favorite. The dahlias are putting a show here. Look at that. Look at this. White, and this one pinkish. This one that I separated, I preserved the roots and over the winter, and I split them. This one I think is the orange one that I had, and this one is great. I have succulents over there, and then grapes all over. This grape was hit, of course, by the herbicide drift, but also in the winter, so it didn't produce as many leaves as it used to. So I need to go and thin all these fruits so it doesn't get it can support all these fruits. Okay, and the bed here around the this bed here, mostly flowers, is also doing great. Look at those lilies. Very pretty, very tall this year. This is the tallest year. Peonies are done here. The anemone is spreading. I knew, well, I didn't know because I bought this species that is supposed to be not invasive, but they sent me the wrong one. But it's doing great. It usually flowers the end of September, so it can give us some flowers then. These are nice. Their geraniums are spreading. I didn't know that they spread this much. I have purple basil here, but the watering system for this bed was not working, so things didn't grow much. But because I mulched it really well, so they survived, but they need to be watered more. Flowers are really nice. That bugs stopped eating them. The penstemon are putting those pretty flowers here. And then the new things that I planted are doing well, like the coneflower, the purple one here. The honeysuckle is doing okay after being hit with the weather this winter. And the chameleon plant decided this year that's going to be invasive. I knew it, but it was behaving, but now it's jumping the brick wall. So I need to take care of that. Let's take a look at the outside. This is the new side bed. It's doing well, and by doing well meaning that it hasn't changed, but nothing died. This is starting to yellow a little bit, so it needs more water. But everything here is perennial, so it's gonna take it a year of, and then next year it's gonna do better. I'm hoping. That's good. Here, these are old perennials, so look, they're doing just magnificent. And this is the new green twister. Pretty, very pretty. The front yard roses have put a show while I was gone. So pretty. They need to be deadheaded and fertilized. The salvias are just pretty here. So pretty. This is also their peak, and everything else looks good. And our pears are getting bigger. They won't be harvested until I think August, so we still have time. And I need to go and get rid of the leaves of all the spring bulb flowers here, so I need to do some work. But the pear trees are so big. Oh, and I can see a pear up. That's good. So the thieves won't get to that one at least. And I might have one pear. The other side here, I have the apricot tree. It's going on the sidewalk here, so I need to trim those branches. And there are a few, I know there are a few of apricots, but I need to find them once they start to turn color, and that's gonna happen in a couple weeks. So the peach didn't have fruit on it, maybe just a couple, and if they are still there, then we'll see them once they turn color. So, but everything here looks good while I was gone. There might be even some strawberries here. So things look great. I just need to do a lot of work here, but I will enjoy every minute of it. So that's everything in the update. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you next time.